Folks, we got big news. Ripple announces its exchange partners for its RLUSD stablecoin, and tomorrow the SEC has a deadline to file its appeal details. And Coinbase is punching back against the SEC, filing a motion to get more information, and someone has filed for a Litecoin spot ETF, a blast from the past. Let's get into it. Hey everybody, welcome into the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. I'm your host, Tony Edward. On your way in, please hit that subscribe button as well as a thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify or Apple, please leave a 5-star rating and review. Folks, as you can probably see, those of you watching on YouTube, I'm still down in Miami, Florida at the Ripple Swell Conference. So I'm recording this in my hotel room. Had quite a few interviews today. Jack McDonald, Coinbase's chief security officer, and many other folks. And those interviews will be coming over the next couple of days. I will be interviewing Brad Garlinghouse tomorrow and a bunch of other folks. So it's been a really great event, but let's jump into the news. Today, Bitcoin made some significant moves. It actually touched $67,000, looking bullish on the charts, but we still need further confirmation. As I've been telling you guys, a weekly close above $65,000 will be very bullish, but we need Bitcoin to actually do that. So let's see if it keeps pushing up this week. And this could be the start of the next phase up. Bitcoin heading to new all-time highs, maybe 80 to 90K. Then pulling back a bit, that liquidity will flow down to the altcoins and rinse and repeat, right? And then we will eventually hit a top in this cycle where I think Bitcoin could go to 135K, around that range. And then we could see an amazing alt season. So we need Bitcoin to do its thing. There are various factors that are aligning to this. So one of those, and actually Plan B shared this, the Bitcoin miner revenue, he says, looks like miner revenue bottom is in. You know what that means. So this aligns with the seasonality. It aligns with, the timeline after the halving and much more. And of course, money printing continues. Global liquidity is on the rise. So there's multiple factors here that are going to drive Bitcoin up. And of course, the DXY we've been watching closely. It appears to be topping out here. As shared in yesterday's podcast, its RSI is hitting that overbought zone. So it's going to start to pull back, and we need it to break it below 100. And then it's going to be full risk on into risk assets, of course. Now, something many folks are tweeting about, rightfully so, Tesla transfers $225 million worth of Bitcoin to unknown wallets. This is from Arkham. Now, I don't know if Tesla's going to dump, but I hope they're not, because that would not be great. But, this is a small amount. But Tesla has sold some Bitcoin in the past, and it was more of they needed the cash, going through the high rate cycles where liquidity dries up. They needed to exit some of their Bitcoin positions to get some cash. But I hope it's not the case, but we'll have to wait and see. Now, folks, today, Ripple, they announced their RLUSD stablecoin partners, exchange partners, and I was there at the event when they announced it. And they said, upon approval, RLUSD will be globally available for institutions and users from Uphold, Bitstamp, Bitso, MoonPay, Lender, Reserve, CoinMina, and Bullish. So they said, introducing the RLUSD Advisory Board with deep experience in traditional finance, government, and regulation, guiding the responsible introduction of the RLUSD to market. So this is really great. You need the proper exchanges, and Ripple does have a great network. So I think this is going to help them in adoption and getting different institutions and even retail to use the stablecoin. But obviously they do have to ramp up, right? Because there are established players in many of the different parts of the world, such as USDT and USDC, not to mention PYUSD, PayPal stablecoin. And today we actually have news that the UAE central bank approves the launch of a AED stablecoin. Stablecoin wars are heating up, folks. I wrote a newsletter. It was at the end of 2023 that this year we would see this happen, and it's coming to fruition. So exciting. But this is signs of a maturing, healthy asset class, and competition is good for the consumer. So we want to see this. And, when there's competition, it forces everybody to up their game and improve their customer service and make sure their product is good. When there's one or two, usually that's not really great for the market. But It's great to see that competition's on the rise. Now, quick word from our sponsor, folks, and that is VeChain, which is one of the top layer one enterprise blockchains out there. VeChain works with many big brands and companies around the world to help build Web3 and decentralized app ecosystems. Some of the great features of the VeChain blockchain include it is secure, affordable, scalable, fast, and sustainable. And some of their partners include Boston Consulting Group, Givenchy, PwC, that's one of the top for accounting firms in the world. You have BMW, Walmart, China, and so forth. And I've been a VET token holder for many years, guys. I'm bullish on this project. I hold it in my portfolio. So if you'd like to learn more about VeChain, go to vechain.org. Link will be in the description. Now, tomorrow is a very big day, folks, because the SEC has the deadline to file a form which will give details on what it is appealing in the Ripple lawsuit. So, Eleanor Terry of Fox Business spoke to Stuart Al-Laradi, the chief legal officer at Ripple, and here are the top takeaways. The SEC's last day to file Form C, which will give some level of detail about what it plans to appeal, is tomorrow. 7 days later, Ripple will file its own Form C, which will give more details about its own cross appeal. Both parties will then agree on a briefing schedule, and the SEC then has up to 90 days to file its first brief. Al-Laradi says he expects them to take the full 90 days. That opening brief will be a recitation of all the legal arguments that the SEC will be making. Ripple will file a response and then its own brief. The full briefing process, according to Al-Laradi, will go through July 2025. So unless there's some sort of settlement, this thing is not wrapping up soon. But look, the election's coming up. Gensler is going to be out. I think whether Kamala Harris wins or Donald Trump wins, we know for sure he'll be out if Donald Trump wins. But the tide is changing. Crypto legislation, I think, will be passed by then. You already hear rumblings of Democrats like Chuck Schumer and you got Patrick McHenry and the Republican side talking about getting things done in the lame duck session by the end of this year. So I'm optimistic, folks, and Gary Gensler is on the losing side of history. Now, we've seen a lot of ETF filings, specifically for XRP, before that Solana, but now here comes Litecoin, a blast from the past. And I still hold some Litecoin tokens from back in the day. It's not a lot. It's really nothing. But Canary funds, the same folks who filed for the XRP ETF, they are filing an S1 for a Litecoin ETF. And look, this could get approved. Litecoin is proof of work. And if the SEC tries to deny it, they could face another lawsuit. So as always, game theory will play out here. If Canary's doing it, watch out for Grayscale and these other folks. Although I'm not sure if there's going to be a lot of demand for Litecoin. There has not been too many major development updates and so forth. I'm not saying it's a dead project. It's just there's so many blockchains out there. There's so many competitors. I don't know where Litecoin fits anymore. And I'm being honest with you guys. And maybe in certain parts of the world, certain jurisdictions, Litecoin does have a strong community, some usage, but it's not getting the big time adoption, if you know what I mean. But we'll see. Maybe they get it, and this is kind of a on-ramp to help bring in other crypto coins, and maybe Dogecoin, another proof of work coin, will get an ETF, right? But we'll have to see with the timing and what the SEC does here. Now, Nate Geraci, whose interview I just published this morning, and we talk about the ETFs, he tweeted out 1 year ago, the DC Circuit Court of Appeals issued a final ruling in Grayscale's lawsuit against the SEC over a spot Bitcoin ETF. Spot Bitcoin ETFs are now a $60 billion category. Spot Ether ETFs have $7 billion. And now we have filings for Solana, XRP, and Litecoin ETFs. Wild. Yeah, things are moving, guys. I'm excited. I'm bullish, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. Now, Coinbase is continuing its battle with the SEC, and it's a pretty significant one. So, Eleanor Terry of Fox Business said this morning Coinbase filed a motion in a DC court asking the judge to grant a partial summary judgment in its lawsuit suing the SEC to gain access to internal documents relating to crypto enforcement. Coinbase lawyers say the SEC has been stonewalling its attempt to get these documents through FOIA requests. Now, what does Gary have to hide? A lot, folks. The fact that they're stonewalling Coinbase and just doing a simple FOIA request to get documents shows they have something to hide. If you have nothing to hide, FOIA request, which is the Freedom of Information Act, is a right to all of you that you can file and get certain information from the government. Remember, the government is supposed to be for the people. They're funded by our tax dollars. Unfortunately, these rogue agencies, which have become so powerful, have become corrupt. And one of the biggest corrupt scumbags is Gary Gensler. So of course he's doing this stuff, right? But the great thing, the courts have been the ultimate balance of power and equalizer, checks and balances. So really great that Coinbase is not putting up with this nonsense. So the SEC has been stonewalling Coinbase's attempts to get those documents through FOIA requests, despite the exchange suing the agency to get access to them. According to the lawsuit, the SEC is requesting a 3-year grace period to see if the documents in question can be released to Coinbase. 3 years? Gary Gensler is a scumbag. At most, they should have returned this stuff in a month or given it in a month. 3 years? That's ridiculous. That's asinine. Paul Grewal of Coinbase tweeted out about it, highlighting that this is just nonsense, and the 3 years is just wild. James Murphy, Meta lawman, who I just recently had on the podcast, said, "It still amazes me that private litigants like Coinbase have to go to court to get answers about the SEC's conduct. This is what we pay Congress to do, and they are MIA on real SEC oversight. John Deaton in the Senate solves this." So tonight, guys, is actually the debate between John Deaton and Elizabeth Warren. I'm going to be at the Ripple event here, so I'm not sure if I can hop on to stream it, but if I get back in time, I can try to, if the Wi-Fi holds up here. But you can stream that online, guys. But we need John to win in the state of Massachusetts. So if you're in the state of Massachusetts, vote for John. If you're outside the state, donate to him. I have donated. Now, guys, we also got news that FalconX unveils service that automatically converts digital assets to dollars for crypto miners. So this is pretty significant. Digital asset prime broker FalconX has launched an electronic streaming service that will liquidate crypto mining rewards to streamline the reinvestment process. So you're seeing all types of products and financial services being built for this industry. And as mentioned earlier, that's a very good sign, a sign of a maturing, healthy asset class. And many different solutions are being put forth to address problems and make things more efficient. So they said here, historically, miners have had to navigate multiple processes and third-party providers to convert rewards into cash, often encountering delays and inefficiencies. So that's essentially what the problem they're trying to solve. Folks, that's the news. Let me know what you think. Leave your thoughts and comments below. Hit the thumbs up button. Be sure to sign up for my free email newsletter. It's 100% free. It's available on Substack. Link will be in the description. Also, please grab a copy of my book, Rethinking Crypto. It's available on Amazon in paperback and digital. Great way to support the podcast. Buy a few copies for your friends and family who want to learn about crypto as we head into the fifth wave and blow off top of this market cycle. It includes investment tips to help them not to get wrecked, so they at least can be educated, right? Education is so important. In general, financial education is important, but even more so in crypto, because this thing is very new. It does have some complexities to it. So it's important to educate folks about this. So if you bought a copy already, please leave a rating and review. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys, and I'll talk to you all later.